Just to say, this is the longest chapter I probably had an AI make. Alright, chapter 38. The Grand Purge and the Captain's Final Containment. The tactical overlay on Thomas's security tablet flashed with a coordinate grid map as the group split up into teams. To cinematically reclaim the Pizzaplex. With the sheer strength of Captain Stilge, the tech expertise of Thomas, the guidance of Glenmark Freddy, and the spiritual vengeance of the Fun Times, the rescue mission moved with absolute precision. Before the team split up to head to their respective stations, Gregory looked up at Captain Stilge and the upgraded Glamrock Fun Times. His brown furrowed with curiosity. Wait a minute, Gregory asked, putting between them. How come you guys are glitching out or trying to hunt me down? The others were corrupted almost instantly. But you, Captain, and the Fun Times aren't affected by the virus at all. How is that possible? Captain Silge paused, his mechanical wolf tail slowing down as his digital holographic eye patch softened. He looked over at Maya, Leo, Oliver, and Chloe, striking a knowing, gentle glance with them. Sometimes, lad, words aren't enough to explain the secret of the deep. Silge rumbled softly. It is better to show ye. Suddenly, the ambient neon lighting of the room seemed to dim, and the gentle, overworldly warmth filled the air. Right before Gregory's wide eyes, translucent glowing figures began to separate from the metal bodies of the animatronics. The heavy metal armor remained stationary as 5 radiant spirits stepped forward, manifesting into their true childlike soul forms. The children they used to be decades ago. A young boy in a striped shirt stood where Silge was, alongside the spiritual forms of Maya, Leah, Oliver, and Chloe, as happy, glowing children. Our bodies aren't moving because of artificial intelligence, Gregory, Maya's soul said, her voice sounding soft, human, and completely free of any mechanical filter. We are moving because our souls are directly controlling the metal. Afton's virus can only corrupt software and program. It cannot touch a human soul. The children smiled warmly at Gregory before stepping backward, fading smoothly back into the upgraded armor. The animatronic's eyes relit with their unusual vibrant colors as the physical bodies became active once more under the complete control of the spiritual pilots. Gregory nodded in the absolute awe, finally understanding that their supernatural bond made them entirely immune to the digital curse. With the mystery solved, Thomas' data scans had revealed that Vanny's corruption wasn't just a software glitch. She had physically altered the main band. She had installed small glowing purple microscopic microchips directly into the motherboards of each flagship animatronic, her coding Burntrap's virus into the software to save them. The team didn't need to break them down, they just had to get close enough to remove the chips. They targeted the corrupted superstars one by one, completely altering the horrific fate of their original timeline. Chica's redemption in the depths of the loading docks. Gregory safely lured a twitching glitched Chica toward a high-frequency kitchen counter. Before her hunting submarines could fully lock onto him, Maya and Leo swiftly stepped into her path. Blocking her arms, Thomas moved in with lightning speed, popping open her neck panel and instantly plucking the glowing purple corruption chip from her motherboard. Chica gasped, her digital eyes returning to a clear, gentle blue as she blinked in confusion. Monty subreducing. Inside Monty Golf, Montgomery Gator lunged from the catwalks, with a feral mechanical war, but he met his match in Captain Silge, using the massive heavy-duty strength of his new pirate wolf body. Silge locked Monty in a powerful bear hug, pinning the thrashing gator's arms to his sides. "Hold steady, matey," Silge rumbled, with Monty completely immobilized. Oliver and Chloe slid his head panel back, allowing Thomas to use a magnetic tool to wrench the corruption chip out. Monty still shivered, his red eyes softening into a dazed but clear consciousness as he muttered, "Whoa, what happened to the lights?" Roxy's liberation. As at Roxy Raceway, Roxanne will speed dash towards them, snarling in a blinding fury. But Freddy stepped in as a protective shield while the old silver security hound sprinted forward, emitting a specialized sonic frequency that temporarily scrambled her corruption radar. As Roxy stumbled disorderly, Thomas safely reached her primary interface compartment and pulled the final purple chip out, instantly snapping her out of the dark trance. With the original band successfully saved, free from the physical chips, the group moved to the toughest targets. On the surface, Officer Vanessa, they cornered her near the primary security hub. The chilling, twitching person, Vanny, tried to crawl out, her eyes flashing red as she reached for her tattered bunny mask and raised a weapon. "We can't just pull a chip from her," Thomas yelled over the alarms. "Afton's vital consciousness is rooted directly into her mind. Then we contain her here where she's safe, and we strike at the root," Captain Silge commanded. Working together, Freddy and Monty used the massive frames to safely restrain and contain Vanessa, trapping her securely inside a reinforced glass security holding cell in the main hub, so she couldn't hurt herself or stop them. She slammed her fist against the glass, her voice distorted by Afton's viral influence, screaming from her master. Leaving Chica, Roxy, and the security hound to guard the holding cell, Captain Silge, Thomas, Freddy, Monty, Gregory, and the rest of the Fun Times turned toward the service elevator. The only way to set Vanessa free was to go downstairs and destroy the source of the mind control once and for all. The final descent was unlike anything William Afton could have prepared for. Instead of a lonely, frightened child running through the dark, an unyielding army marched down into the scorched ruins of Fazbear's Fright. When they stepped out into the submarine graveyard, the air grew freezingly cold. Emerging from the glowing Glamrock charging station, Burnchop scattered out into the ash, his melted green and yellow rabbit suit twitching violently. His malevolent purple eyes flared with a desperate, furious energy as he tried to project his vital mind control waves to hijack the animatronics on the surface. But it was completely useless, even though the Funtimes had shared the human identities with Gregory earlier. Their souls were still very much bound to their metal bodies. They have chosen to remain within their upgraded armor to see this fight through to the end. Now the decision proved to be Afton's undoing. The combined unmistakable spiritual willpower of Maya, Leah, Oliver, Chloe, and Silver, thrumming directly from within their metal bodies, formed an impenetrable supernatural barrier, completely shielding the animatronics and Thomas from the corruption. Your reign of terror ends tonight, Afton," Thomas shouted, his voice echoing off the ancient brick walls. Burntrap lunged with his sharp, blackened metallic claws, but the reclaimed Glamrock band moved as a flawless unit. Monty and Freddy charged forward, using their combined strength to shattered Burntrap's offense stance and slammed the monster hard against the stone foundation. Then Captain Silge stepped to the front, his heavy navy blue and silver armor gleaming in the darkness, his mechanical wolf tail swaying slowly, his digital holographic eye patch locked into Burntrap's chest cavity. Analyzing the warp endoskeleton structure. You have taken out shadow herds, our lives, and the peace of this world for far too long. Silge's deep pirate voice boomed like thunder through the cavern. It is time to cast ye into the deepest brig. Silge's internal processes whirled with an immense surge of power. Deep within his programming, a hidden ancient corporate security protocol, one hard-coded into his core data stream from the very beginning of his creation, snapped into activation. Protocol absolute containment. With a roaring surge of power, Silge drove his razor-sharp titanium hook straight into the center of Burntrap's chest, pinning the monster to the wall using the massive heavy-duty arms. Silge began to methodically and ruthlessly dismantle the Abominatus. He ripped away the charred, melted rabbit cat body, broke the rusted mechanical joints, and shattered the something actors of the endoskeleton. Burntrap shrieked, a horrific scattered lace human and mechanical scream echoing through his vocal processes as his limbs were completely torn apart. Silge did not stop until the monster's physical mobility was entirely destroyed. But they knew Afton couldn't easily die. His wicked soul was stubbornly bound to the remnant of the melted metal, so they executed the final phase of the plan. Silge lifted the broken, completely dismantled torso and head of Burntrap and threw him back into the heavy-duty Glamrock charging station. Thomas ran to the station's external consoles, his fingers flying across the keyboard. He completely rewired the charging port. The keyboards he completely internal program, transforming it into a high-tech electronic vault. The glass doors slid down and locked with a series of heavy automatic steel bolts. The power grid was permanently altered, flooding the chamber with a continuous high-frequency electronic dampening field. Inside the pod, Burntrap's purple eyes flickered weakly. He was still alive, his dark consciousness trapped within the ruins, shattered fragments of his head and chest. But he was completely paralyzed. He could move, he could not speak, and his vital signs was entirely severed. He was unable completely contained, buried beneath millions of tons of concrete, stuck forever in a dark, silent prison where he could never rebuild himself or harm any living soul. The moment Burntrap was fully dismantled and sealed away, the second link shattered. Upstairs in the security hub, the violet crimson tint instantly vanished from Vanessa's eyes. She stopped slamming against the glass, her hands dropping to her sides as she gasped for air, the suffocating presence of William Afton dissolving from her mind completely. The vanity persona was gone, erased by the destructive of her captor. Chica and Roxy instantly unlocked the holding cell, and Vanessa stumbled out, crying tears of overwhelming relief as she looked down at her hands. She was finally free. Down in the quiet ruins of the suffocating weight of the ancient evil lifted from the air, Gregory looked up at the giant animatronics, then at Thomas, a bright, triumphant smile on his face. Silge looked at his family, Maya, Leah, Oliver, and Chloe, and then at Freddie and the surface crew for the first time in decades. The supernatural energy within His silver and blue body felt completely at peace. The souls were still anchored in their suits, but they were no longer bounded by pain or vengeance. They were guardians now by choice. The seas were finally calm. We did it, Gregory said softly, holding Freddy's large hand. Yes, superstar. Freddy boomed proudly, looking toward the elevator. The night is over. Let us go home. Together the army of guardians turned their backs on the darkness, stepping into the lift and rising back upward. The bright, beautiful neon lights of a safe, healed, and peaceful mega pizzaplex. As the morning sun began to peek through the massive glass domes of the main auditorium, the heavy burden of the past felt entirely gone. The pizzaplex was safe, the animatronics were whole, and a new day was beginning. In the quiet lounge of the retro pavilion, Gregory sat on a plush neon couch, the silver security hound resting its chin comfortably on his knee. Freddy stood nearby alongside Captain Silge and the Fun Times, their eyes shining with warmth. Thomas and Vanessa walked into the room together, holding warm cups of coffee. Vanessa looked completely exhausted, but her smile was real, bright and unburdened for the first time in years. Gregory looked up at the two security guards who had risked everything to shield him from the darkness. He had been a lonely kid sneaking around a dangerous mall, but looking at them, he realized he didn't want to run anymore. He didn't want to be alone. Thomas knelt down in front of the couch, offering Gregory a warm smile. Hey, kiddo. The lockdown is over. We can help you find a place to go. Or if you want, you don't have to look for a home anymore. Vanessa stepped beside Thomas, placing a gentle hand on Gregory's shoulder. We talked about it, she said softly, her voice filled with a motherly warmth she had hidden for so long. You're a brave kid, Gregory. We want you to stay with us officially. We want to adopt you. Gregory's eyes winded tears of pure happiness welling up as he looked at Vanessa to Thomas. Without a second thought, he lunged forward, throwing his arms tightly around both of them. In a massive hug, yes, Gregory cried, happily burying his face into Thomas's jacket. I want to stay with you. Freddy boomed with a joyous chuckle, his blue lightning bolt paint gleaming under the morning light. Sensations. Congratulations, superstar. Oh, sorry. Come on, you dumb thing. So Gregory's eyes widened tears. So Freddy boomed with a joy chuckle, his blue lightning bolt paint gleaming under the morning light. Sensation. Okay. Captain Silge raised his titanium hook in a final sweeping pirate salute, his mechanical wolf tail wagging happily behind him as Maya, Leo, Oliver, and Chloe clapped and cheered. A true captain needs a family, Silge rumbled with deep pride, and it looks like his crew has found theirs. As the cheering subsided, Gregory pulled back from the hug, his mind tracking back through the chaos of the night. He looked toward Vanessa, then back at Thomas and the Fun Times. Wait, Gregory muttered, a sudden realization striking him. Earlier you guys said Afton's virus can only corrupt software and mechanical programming because it needs a digital bridge. If that's true, how did it take over Vanessa? She isn't an animatronic. She doesn't even have a motherboard. Thomas exchanged a serious look with Vanessa before setting his coffee cup down. Afton's virus does need a digital bridge to cross over, Gregory, and it found one when Vanessa, Captain Silge, and I went way down into the depths earlier, trying to find him. Vanessa nodded slowly, her hands tightening reassuringly on Gregory's shoulder. We didn't find him directly at first. All we found down there was a computer camera monitor showing a few different camera stations. He was on the feed watching us. Suddenly, his vital code shot straight through the screen, using the monitors as a weapon to fire out his energy. He actually tried to take control of Captain Silge. The monster tried to breach my defenses, Captain Silge rumbled, his voice low and serious. But because of my body, it's steered by a human soul, being steered by a human soul and not an AI software system. His body bounded right, his power bounced right off me. He couldn't get a foothold. But I was entirely vulnerable, Vanessa explained softly, a sad look passing through her eyes. Because humans rely on the electron human pulses in her brain to see and process light, looking directly at the glowing monitor screen allowed his power to pierce straight through my eyes. It couldn't rewire my soul, but it hijacked my conscious mind, creating the Vanny persona right then and there. A living human mind is fragile to those kinds of frequencies, may added gently from across the room, but now that the source is buried and sealed away, the signal is completely dead. You're completely safe, Vanessa. Vanessa smiled warmly, a deep breath of relief escaping her lips. Gregory looked at his new family, the lingering mystery finally solved, feeling an overwhelming sense of closure. With Gregory officially adopted by Vanessa and Thomas, protected by the unstoppable army of modern rockstar and ancient heroic souls, the dark history of Fazbear Entertainment was finally laid to rest. They had built a real family out of the shadows, and future of the Mega Pizzaplex was brighter than ever. Sorry for it being that long.